Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. Uh, this is our men's advanced Bible study night, the 8th of November, 2024. Okay. The title inside the room is Project 25 Revisited. Okay, we dealt with this on our women's line, so I'm coming back and I'm doing it on the men's line too. And so we get some feedback on this line too. Okay. So you can go to our YouTube channel to Prophets of Awakening and check out our video. There's a lot of we have over 20 or 30 videos so far that you can check them out. These videos will lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. Okay. And for those that want to support the channel, we have our Cash App running across the bottom of the screen. So that too will be greatly appreciated. Okay. And we on this channel right here. This our non-Messianic channel, and it's on Thursday nights for our men's advanced Bible study. So you want to check us out. We're available at 7 to 9 every Thursday night, every Friday night for our men's advanced Bible study night. Okay. This is a non-Messianic channel, and by that I mean we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts. Okay, our Redeemer. Shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our men's advanced Bible study night. Okay, we're gonna do our normal, which is a moment of silence, a Sabbath prayer, songs, current events. And then we have some. We go into our need to know information. Then we open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions, or comments, or anything they want to dialogue, talk about before we go into the lesson. And like I said before, the lesson is inside the class is the Project 25 Revisited. We're going to go back and look at that, of what was said about it, and the videos and things that were brought up about it, and what is actually happening now, and did any of the things that happened with that, or can you apply them today to right now, right? So with that being said, this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servants David, Solomon, Samuel, and Hezekiah did. Okay, for we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments, your testimony, and your statutes with all our heart and all our soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people, and hear our plea. Hear and do, O Lord. Hide not thy face from us any longer, for we need you so very much at this hour. Okay, peace be unto you. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to read the Psalms. Okay. Read the Psalms right quick. Okay. What I do is I'm going to read Psalms 37. It's one of my favorite songs, especially for this time as being an Israelite and waking up and finding out you're Israelite. Okay. Psalms 37 says the true state of the wicked. It's a Psalm of David. It says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and they shall wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord, do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord, and trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord, and wait patiently for him, and fret not thyself because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger, and forsake wrath, and fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, for evildoers shall be cut off. But those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow, to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of an upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bow shall be broken. A little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked. For the arm of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous. The Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in evil times, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fatted lambs. They shall consume, the smoke shall they consume away. The wicked borrow, and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth. For such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth, and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. I have been young, and now I am old, and I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever merciful, and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil, do good, and dwell forevermore. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell therein forevermore. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of his God is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. The wicked watcheth the righteous, and seeketh to slay him. The Lord will not leave him in his hands, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on the Lord, and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. I have seen the wicked in great power, spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. And yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is their strength in a time of trouble. And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. And he shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him. So that was Psalms 37, true state of the wicked. Anybody have any comments on that?
Shalom, Mr. Leonard. I do have a
Okay.
comment on that. And that's
Shalom, man.
part of coming to the Most High as a child and humbling yourself. That's where
Exactly.
humbling comes in at.
Okay. Ain't that something? Yeah, yeah. So we see all through this psalm, like I said, this is my number one psalm, and we see all through here David. Like I said, who you gonna listen to? You gonna listen to the apostles, or Paul, or you gonna listen to David? And so David tells us to be patient, tarry, and to wait on the Lord, because everything he says he gonna do it. And so
Exactly.
right. So
Exactly.
another thing I want to shine a light on is I told you how they hoodwinked us with this wicked, righteous and wicked, with the Christian perspective. But when you understand who the wicked are, they're the Gentiles. Gentiles are the wicked, and the Israel, the true Israelites, are the righteous. So when you read in the scriptures, and he said talking about righteous, he's talking about Israelites. And when he's talking about wicked folks, he's talking about the Gentiles, which is the third and the fourth beast. When they came, the Gentiles are the third and fourth beast. He said that Israel was going to be cast out of their land, and they was going to be cast among the Gentiles, and there they was going to serve their gods and pick up their ways until the time of the Gentiles is up. So we on the other side of that prophecy. So now we see exactly who the Gentiles is. And it ain't, and the understanding they gave us, it ain't working. So let me give you an example right quick. I'm over in 2 Samuel right quick. We're talking about who's wicked, right? The wicked folks that on the planet. So you go to 2 Samuel, okay? Let me get it. Okay. 2 Samuel chapter 7, right? And I'm gonna pick it up in verse. Nathan is told David wanted to build a house for the Lord. You know, I'm just summarizing what's going on. I'm gonna pick it up in verse 8. So David wanted to build a house for the Lord, and Nathan, the prophet at the time, the seer, told him to go ahead and do all this in your heart. The Lord came in verse 4 and told to correct Nathan because Nathan didn't come to him and inquire of him before he gave David an answer. So the Lord of hosts, not JC or Yahushua, the Lord of hosts came and told him, now, though, I'm going to read verse 4. And it came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came to Nathan, saying, see, you can't correct it. Verse 8, now, therefore, shalt thou say to my servant David, thus saith the Lord of hosts, it's our Redeemer, right here. The Archangel Michael, it's the Lord of hosts. He's over the Most High's creation. I took thee from the sheepcote, from following sheep, to be ruler over my people, and I was with thee wheresoever thou wentest, and I have cut off all thy enemies out of thy sight, and I have made thee a great name, like the name of the great men that are in the earth. So then 10, moreover, this is the Lord of hosts talking to Nathan. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people, Israel. See that? So Israel is his people, right? And I will plant them that they may dwell in the place of their own, and they shall move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more as beforetime. So when you read that verse right there, in proper context, Israel is the righteous that the Most High chose, the apple of his eye. It's some more people that's wicked as hell. They're the Gentiles. And so you say, what are you talking about? Well, the four beasts that Daniel informed us about in the book of Daniel is the wicked people he's talking about. In 2 Samuel chapter 10. He bring those wicked folks because every time Israel turn away from him, he bring these wicked people. They don't
And
have
no more.
right.
And they were saying, no more shall I move you. But they moving out of that place right now.
Right,
If that's
exactly.
what they want to call themselves, right?
Exactly. Right. So I got videos on that, and you know, to keep from digressing, I got videos on that showing you who those people are that's in the land of Israel today. They're not the Israelites. And so that's why you have to understand that what they've done, they duped us when they gave us a definition of who was righteous and who was wicked when they concocted the New Testament and all the ideologies that go along with it. But long before that, it was already established who was righteous and who was unrighteous, who was wicked. So, like I said, all you have to do is look around, pay attention, you can see who's wicked and who ain't wicked. Okay. So anyway, anybody else have any comments on that? That was Psalm 37. Okay. So with that being said, we'll go to some current events. Right. Let me see how I'm gonna do this. Okay. Let's go with this one right here.
Shalom, AJ. Shalom, all the brothers. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Play this right here. We'll get a breakdown on it. Okay.
So states are furious, governors are highly concerned, and mayors are wondering what is going to happen next, because now their citizens, their residents, the people living in their states, in their cities, in their counties are highly concerned because Trump won. Now, I'm going to break down what's going on as we speak, what the American people are concerned with, and what officials are telling us all around the world. I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoyed these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So something very concerning is happening right now, and that is that our president-elect, Donald Trump, has a lot of threats against his life. Look at this right here. This says, FBI thwarts Iranian murder-for-hire plan targeting Donald Trump. Now, this was something that they prevented. The FBI prevented this weeks before the election. The concern now, not just from the FBI, but from world leaders, is that Donald Trump is going to be a target everywhere he goes for the next 4 years. Now, why is this turning into a problem? Number one, if you are if you are a potential threat, okay, or there's a risk against your life, then you're going to be concerned no matter where you go. The problem now is it doesn't matter if he's here in the United States, because we've already seen threats against his life here just leading up to the election. But many officials are worried that these threats are only going to continue and escalate as we get closer to Inauguration Day. Well, this is where states and cities are stepping in. Look at this right here. It says, California governor calls a special session to protect liberal policies from Trump presidency. Now, we're going to get to that in just a moment, but I want to show you some other reports. Look at this. It says thousands expected for People's March on Washington ahead of Trump's inauguration. Organizers estimate 50,000 people will attend as part of an expected surge of protests and celebrations from across the political spectrum as the nation's seat of power transitions to Trump. Yeah. Now, there's going to be multiple protests, many marches, some celebrations. Again, there's going to be some issues here. Look at this one. It says protesters gather outside Chicago's Trump Tower after election landslide. Now, it doesn't stop there. That was in Chicago. Even in New York, there were protests. In Seattle, Washington, there were protests. Look at this. This is in Denver. It says, we're on our own. Denver's first little protest of the second Trump era. It says snow kept it small, but people angry about the election expect their movement to grow. Now, many people are not happy that President-elect Donald Trump has been selected as the next president of the United States. And as a result, they're going to show their displeasure. Now, this is where it's taking a turn. What former President Donald Trump or current President-elect Donald Trump has said in the past is that we're spending too much money on illegal immigrants coming into the United States. We are flying them in. We're busing them from the border up to New York, up to Chicago, and to Denver, right? A lot of issues here. But he's saying we need to cut back. We need to deport. thousands and thousands of people, potentially more than 1 million people, should be deported. Well, even a former Obama official, okay, said that yes, they believe there's too many illegal immigrants here in the United States, and in order to provide for the citizens, many people have to go back. Well, look at this. I talked about this morning, but it says New York City ending voucher program that allowed migrant families to buy their own food. Now, the reason why this is concerning is because these families are now going to be on their own. They have to buy their own food, find their own shelter. Okay? They have to pretty much provide for their family or for themselves by themselves. No help. Well, look at this. I want to show you this. It says Trump says there's no price tag for his mass deportation plan. It says in an exclusive interview with NBC News, Trump talked about his campaign promise to carry out the largest deportation of immigrants in U.S. history, regardless of the costs. Now, this is why many states and cities.
Okay.
$453,000.
Okay.
Cities are furious because regardless of the costs, the Trump administration wants to send back, hundreds of thousands of people, potentially more than 1 million people, send them back to Mexico and China and to Guatemala. They send them back to whatever country they came from if they are not here legally and do not have any paperwork showing that they're trying to go through the process. Well, here's the issue. How are they going to fund that? How are they going to fund back a mass deportation event? Well, the only way to fund it is to take the money from the states, from the cities, from all these different programs that have been funding shelter for migrants, food for migrants, cell phones for migrants, okay? Transportation for migrants. Some of these additional universal basic income programs, some of which are for, again, migrants. Now, I'm not here to tell you that this is going to happen for sure or it's just a matter of time, but the expectation is that Trump is going to do whatever he can to send back hundreds of thousands of people. It's going to cost money. So initially, these programs that were set up under the Biden administration for immigrants, well, these programs are going to be shut down.
Okay. Anybody have comments on that?
Yes, sir. It's a slow demolition job.
Okay.
Slow it just shutting them down. I mean, this is more and more finances coming out of this country. It's over.
Okay.
It's a demolition. I mean, we can't afford. Look at New York. They spent all that money in New York, Chicago, and all these other places to have them there. Now you want to spend more money to get them out. It's just depleting the purpose.
Exactly. Right, exactly. So I'm playing these videos for a reason because, like I said, the topic inside the room is we're going to revisit Project 2025, right? We're going to look at what it said in there, what the Republicans objective was, and they made the statement over and over again. Trump did that he ain't connected with 2025, but we're gonna look at it now that we got a little more information because now he the president, so we not in the election cycle no more. We got a president, so let's go to the next one. Okay.
He set it up before he left the first time.
Okay.
No, it was a lot of setup going on. All Republicans right now. Judges, right. I mean, it went across the board, Republicans. And I'm not a politician or a guy that deals with this stuff, but I see what's coming.
Mm-hmm. Right, because you got to line on scripture. Scripture supersedes what the bullshit they talk about.
Welcome back,
All
everyone.
praise.
I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for joining us as always. Well, it was a busy week here with the election, and now it wrapped up. Going to now President-elect Donald Trump, and with that, some of his legal issues already going away here, as we are learning today that a judge has canceled court deadlines in Trump's 2020 election case here. So let's just show you the latest that we are learning right now here on Live Now from Fox, from the AP, reporting that the judge overseeing Donald Trump's 2020 election interference case canceled any remaining court deadlines today after prosecutors said that they need time to assess the, quote, appropriate course going forward after the Republicans' presidential victory. And this is also from Fox News Politics, saying special counsel Jack Smith moves to drop a Trump election interference case here. So this is still going to be going through. It looks like it could all be finalized by December 2nd. Chad program.
So let's look at that. You know, so they want to play this down. All these nut buckets, the evangelicals and everything. So we go, everybody on here and everybody that's listening. You know, you got a diploma, high school diploma. You know about Benedict Arnold. They say that Benedict Arnold turned against the government, and that's treason. Okay, so this dude here attacked the White House. That's far greater than what Benedict Arnold is. Now all of a sudden, this is canceled. Court system, one of the major departments inside the U.S. government is a judicial system. Now it's been canceled. The shit he did on January 6th and what all that went on with it, now it's being canceled. First of all, like I said, how in the hell is he even running for president? So, like I said, this is an insult. But the thing about it is, it's showing you who these people are. It's showing you exactly who they are. Because after all the shit you done said, look what you're doing. So it makes no sense. Okay?
Also weighing in, saying from colleague Tyler Olson, Jordan House Oversight Administration Subcommittee Chairman Barry Loudermilk writing to Special Counsel Jack Smith today, demanding that he preserve all existing and future records on his investigations and prosecutions of President Trump. So some Republicans want to see just exactly what was in all of the records here, and you can see the full breakdown from Jim Jordan and this letter. I'll just read out some of it, saying this is from Representative Jordan, saying, "Dear Mr. Smith, the Committee on the Judiciary is continuing its oversight of the Department of Justice and the Office of Special Counsel. According to recent public reports, prosecutors in your office have been gaining out legal options in the event that President Donald Trump won the election. With President Trump's decisive victory this week, we are concerned that the Office of Special Counsel may attempt to purge relevant records, communication, and documents responsive to our numerous requests for information there." So they're worried that maybe some of the files will be going away permanently here.
So let's look at this. So let's just say that a black dude got 4 or 5 cases against him, but he want to run for the mayor or the governor. He want to run for the mayor of a certain state or a certain city, or he want to run for the governor of a certain state. Okay, you think they're gonna give him fucking time? Excuse my expression. They're gonna give him time to run for the governor and win? And then tell him, then they say all the atrocities that you committed, now they non-void. No, they're gonna lock his ass up as soon as they come out.
Yes, sir.
You got 34 counts. They give him time to run for president, win the president. Now you want to exonerate these charges.
That's why they gave you Kamala Harris, that was able to just laugh her way through. That's all she did.
Right.
They already knew it was a foolproof plan. She laughed her way through.
Right. And so this the good thing about it. Like I said, it's all good that so when you go back and look at this whole situation, like I say, it's a good thing just to sit back, just like we just read in Psalm 37. Just wait, be patient. So now we see that it had to been thousands upon thousands of white folks that said they was gonna vote for Kamala Harris. It was a plot. They said they was gonna vote for Kamala Harris. That was a setup. And then when the time came, they voted for Trump.
57% of white women voted for him, even though they were saying about abortion and they was with the black women and everything.
And they had already sit down and plotted that up. They plotted that up. They said that they actually sit down and plotted it and said that they was gonna vote for her to throw everybody out, throw them off. And then when election day came, they voted for Trump. That was a plot.
Remember, me and you was talking about that. I said that the lady that was down there with the HBUs and they had an interview with her and she said who she really voting for. Remember I was telling you? She said Trump.
Right.
Yes, sir. Trump. Just to get along and get along.
Trump supporters all along. It wasn't just the white women, men too. They set everybody up saying that they was gonna whack. They was gonna vote for her. But the whole time they was gonna vote for that, threw the whole thing off. See what I'm saying? That was a plot. It's no way that you're gonna win all 7 swing states. So you got to go back to all the so-called voting people, that the experts that know that been dealing with voting all this time. You that far off that you saying that it was neck to neck. But then when the actual event happened, you sweep all the swing states, all the states that was. Come on, man. That was
it sound like George Soros with Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So that's who they was hoodwinking, was George Soros and that group. They had them thinking that they was going to vote a certain way, and the whole time at the last minute they was going to go into the polling places and vote for Trump. But when they looking at, they doing the numbers, because they saying they voting for her, they had all these numbers, inaccurate numbers. They throw it off on purpose.
Exactly.
Let that primate.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So let me play a little more of this. Okay.
Also, Attorney General Ken Paxton of Texas saying, I have made a Freedom of Information Act request to the Department of Justice requesting records relating to Jack Smith's corrupt investigation into President Trump. Past special counsels, including notoriously Robert Mueller, destroyed records at the end of their investigation.
So they're going this same thing with the Christian. So you come back now you saying the president. No, when he done all this bullshit, he wasn't the president. It's 4 years later, you drug the shit on, and now he's the president. Now you bring up president, the president. We got to cancel it. Man, come on, that's an insult. And a serious insult.
Crisis actors. Crisis actors. They put them out there just to skew them numbers, and they already knew what the outcome was going to be.
Exactly. It was set up. Okay, but remember what we just read in Ezekiel and Psalm 37. Wicked devices. Don't worry about that. Shit. Okay. I mean, let's look at this need to know information. Okay. Okay.
Financial system is not offering many vulnerable countries the safety net or level of support they need. The Pact for the Future calls for accelerating the reform of the international financial architecture that is outdated, ineffective, and unfair.
Is the world ready for BRICS' $100 billion mega plan to shake up the global economy? Today, we'll look at how BRICS is not just increasing trade, but also changing how countries work together economically. Could this mark the start of a new way of doing international business? Let's get into it. BRICS is really shaking things up around the world. Recently, these countries have been tightening their economic and trade ties. And guess who's leading the way? That's right, China. Their trade volume has shot up to an impressive 4.62 trillion yuan, about 648 billion US dollars in just the first 9 months of 2024. So you know something big is happening. And there's more. This trade isn't just about big numbers. It shows real growth in specific areas. For example, China's exports of steel have increased by 8.6%, and textile raw materials are up by 13.4%. Those are some pretty impressive stats. Don't forget the tech side either. Exports of things like integrated circuits and aircraft parts have also jumped into double-digit growth. This is great news not just for China, but for all BRICS countries, as it helps them develop their own growing industries. Speaking of agriculture, did you know that more than 80% of the chicken and over 50% of the crabs that China imports come from BRICS countries?
Both of them unclean.
That's not just a bunch of random numbers. It's a big deal for trade and helps everyone involved. So, what's driving this growth? Experts say it's because these countries work well together, and China is really focused on opening up its markets even more. Plus, this push for working together isn't just about trading stuff. It's also about forming strong partnerships. For instance, BRICS nations are exploring joint projects in technology and building infrastructure. This means they're not just swapping goods, they're also investing in each other's futures.
Hey, Mr. Leonard.
The BRICS new development.
Okay, what you got?
They said that from what I'm watching, Donald Trump came in and all of a sudden, Ukraine want a deal. China saying since he came in, we need to get with America and all of this. Do it sound familiar? Revelations? Like you're going to have 3 years with no wars?
Right, 3.5 years.
Yeah, 3.5 years. Don't it sound kind of crazy? Because it seems like everything's quiet right now.
Right, exactly. Right. Right. Yeah. I had a matter of fact. I'm gonna go ahead and go there now. I want to show you something on that situation right there. So, we're gonna go to Daniel chapter 11. Like I was saying, this chapter 11 is they done skewed it. You got so many so-called Bible scholars. They got their finger in their ears because they can't deal with Daniel chapter 11 for what it is. So I'm gonna start reading it based on what we're looking at now. So they hoodwinkers, like I said, they put their finger in our ear because if the whole time they already knew what was going to be the outcome of the election because of what they had set up. So I'm in Daniel chapter 11, verse 1. Also in the first year of Darius, right, of the Medes, even I stood and strengthened him. So that's who talking. This is the Lord of hosts. He says at this time, Daniel already prophesied this, but he said when Darius came on the scene, right? He said, I was there to strengthen Darius. So let's look at the situation. I want to lay it out. So if you go back to chapter 8, right? So Daniel chapter 8 says the vision of the ram and the he-goat. So the ram is the Medes and the Persians. And then it says one horn was higher than the other one. And the first horn came up last. The higher horn came up last, which was the Medes. So when you understand that by the time you get to Darius, the last king of the Medes before the Greeks came, he was far richer. Darius had all the wealth. He had all the wealth. He was like Solomon was, because Solomon followed David. David had built up all his wealth from the Lord of hosts dealing with him Solomon was the king of peace. The same thing with Darius. Darius had so much wealth, it was unbelievable. So he was conceited, arrogant. He didn't figure it was nobody could take him out. So he's telling you right here. We're gonna finish reading it. He says, also, Daniel chapter 11, verse 1. Also, in the first year of Darius of the Medes, even I stood to confirm and strengthen him. Then 2. And now I will show thee the truth. And behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings out of the Persians, right? That's the Persians, Medes and Persians. The higher horn was the Persians, right? They had all the wealth. And the 4th from them, which is Darius, he got all the riches. They've been passed down to him, right? It says Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than them all, right? Just like Solomon. And by his strength and through his riches, he shall stir up against the realm of the Grecians. So Darius came up against Alexander, right? Then verse 4, and when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and he shall be divided toward the 4. Okay, 3. And the mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. So Alexander came, right? And Alexander, verse 4, and when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and he shall be divided toward the 4 winds of heaven, and not for his prosperity, nor according to his dominion, which he shall rule. His kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside thee. So when you look at we at the end of the 3rd beast, the Persians is ruling. Darius got all the wealth in the world. They ain't help him. They ain't help him, because prophecy was that the 3rd beast, Alexander, the first king, was gonna come and he's gonna do him bad. And then it came to pass. Him and Alexander came head to head, and Alexander done him bad. It's the same thing right here. The scripture, he done already told us that he gonna do something with them. So no matter what you done tricked off right here, and you think that the game finna change, we finna go back. I'm kind of jumping around, but just I don't know if you heard about this, but it's letters going out to all these different places, like these different black CEOs and black folks that's in power. They're sending letters to them telling them that somebody coming to pick you up and take you into slavery. Anybody heard that?
I heard it. I seen the lady too. There's a bunch of them getting these anonymous texts and stuff.
They're coming to pick them up and take them into slavery. So you think the shit gonna go back to that? No, prophecy, that ain't what prophecy said. So he go Darius with all the wealth. He got all the wealth from, he a 4th generation. He got all the wealth, but the shit ain't working. You ain't gonna win. Daniel already, it's been prophesied. Alexander's gonna win. So all this is a stalemate. This some bullshit, because it ain't gonna work. Because we already see we waking up and all that. How is we going backwards? We're not going backwards. This some bullshit they applied up, but it's not going along with what Scripture gonna say. Scripture says that let me read it. I don't want to paraphrase it. So I'm gonna go to Isaiah. Okay. I read this verse all the time. Let me get it. Isaiah chapter 6. This is what we're looking at. Like I say, when you go to West Africa, Negro land, them Israelites, right? Which the world don't even, the average Negro over here, especially on this side of the pond, don't understand this. So you go to Daniel chapter 68, and it says, arise and shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord, not Yahushua, the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. That's what we're looking at. Like I was saying last night on the women's line, look at this 18th attempt. Just yesterday, they tried to kill Tory again yesterday. The 18th attempt, they're trying to kill him. And they ain't killed him. They can't kill him. Like I said before, go back to Moses. You think they didn't want Moses dead? No. But did he die? No. They wanted David dead. Did he die? No. He lived his, all the way out. He lived his life out to old age, because that's the most, he was the part of prophecy. It's the same thing now. When we see that, when you see that right there, we know the Lord is back, because they've been killing them African leaders and us over here wholesale. But the bullshit it came to an end. So this is right here. Arise and shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, darkness shall cover the whole earth, gross darkness the people, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, they see that. It ain't business as usual. With the AI and all the technology, you tell them you can't kill that Negro. All these so-called weapons you got, and he ain't dead yet. Why he ain't dead? Come on.
Yeah, they should have had a drone that could just hit wherever he at. They got satellites.
Oh yeah.
You got Elon Musk and all of them. They know where he at.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
And we know that the last days we're here.
It's the Lord of hosts. Exactly. He's like I said, it's not for everybody. It's a remnant, like he said, the righteous. Like I was talking earlier, the righteous. It's not that many of them. The righteous, the people that he's dealing with. They gave us a whole little definition of who is wicked and who is righteous, according to the New Testament, according to these damn evangelicals. Look what these nut buckets just who they supporting. They just voted in a dude got 30 counts. Come on. Then he tried to you say the very country that they saying supposed to be they supposed to be patriotic. He just tried to overturn it because he didn't win. Not even voted him right back in the office. Ain't shit good about that. And ain't no good results gonna come out of it. Okay.
And people don't see it that way. That's
yeah.
the way people don't see it. That's why you let those with eyes see, let those with ears hear.
Exactly.
Wickedness in high places.
Want this something? Oh yeah. So we're gonna open up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they heard or they came across on while in their research they want to talk about for a minute before we go into the lesson?
Well, I would like to just say, in the process of this election, it made black men and black women down bad worse than we was. And it just destroyed certain people. It turned people against each other worse than it ever have.
Right. Well, like I said before, when you doing, it's a way that a black man operate, and it's a way that a white man operate. So when you start talking about judgment, okay, and you look in the past and you see how the Most High Lord of Hosts, how he did, look how he did to Pharaoh. Come on, that's not how no white man operate. Look how he did to Pharaoh. And then look how, let's go to even the Israelite, Uzi, when he touched the ark. He already had told him, don't touch the ark. You touch the ark, I'm gonna put some on your ass. So he touched it and he had to go away. So let's look at now. All these Negroes that say they one way and they doing all kind of wicked ass shit behind the scenes, they being set up. They're being set up. That's what we're looking at. They ain't had no white man operate. No man, no melanin in him. He don't have no melanin. They ain't how you operate. They gonna set you up. They being set up. Look how he set the Pharaoh up. These Negroes being set up. Simple as that. Because you saying one thing and you doing something else, and you already know behind the scenes the wicked ass shit that you're doing, and the oaths and all this that you made with these folks. But you coming out to your people and you saying one thing, but you knowing what you already did behind the scenes. Come on, they're being set up, man. And how else you supposed to do a Negro like that? It ain't but one way to do a Negro like that. Come on. That's all you're looking at. So like I said, I read Psalms 37 for a reason. He said the righteous wait, be patient, tarry, wait. Come on. That's all you gotta do. Find you credible places you can conversate and search scriptures out and tarry. You ain't got nothing else to do.
All praise.
Okay? That's how they go. Right. And all this is a facade. This like a tornado. All we doing is with the eye. This bullshit they just pulled off with the election. That's an eye. That's an eye of the storm. It's a calm. It ain't gonna last long. Okay. Is something? So, like I said, nobody else having any questions or comments before we go into the lesson? So, like I said before, we're gonna go back and revisit this the terms and what they say about Project 25, and we're gonna see if all that's playing out or if it's an illusion. Okay, let me look at it and see what I got. Here we go. Yeah.
Most conservative executive branch in modern American history, if enacted. It's called Project 2025. Its pages offer new administrations a blueprint for executing a right-wing agenda, from purging the government of thousands of civil servants to dismantling the Department of Education.
We do have to initiate the largest mass deportation project in the history of this country.
Former President Donald Trump has distanced himself from Project 2025, but Democrats aren't buying it.
Project 2025 would roll back our fundamental freedoms, undermine our democracy, and gut checks and balances.
Here's a closer look at the four main pillars of this radical plan and how.
So let's look at this. Let's look at what he just said. Roll back. That's not even in the Hebrew language. When you start talking about prophecy, ain't shit being rolled back. When the time came for the Israelites to come out of Egypt, wasn't shit rolled back. Most High that word don't deal with the Lord of hosts. Roll back, don't go along with what the thinking like a Hebrew. Because we dealing with prophecies.
How they could transform the American government as we know it.
One of the things that's interesting about Project 2025 is the tone. You hear the term woke mentioned dozens of times, radical mentioned dozens of times. It's remarkably driven by cultural war politics.
Project 2025 is designed as a government in waiting if Trump or any conservative president returns to office. It's the brainchild of the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank and lobbying group that has helped staff Republican administrations since the Reagan era.
We cover literally every public policy issue in Project 2025, from domestic policy to foreign policy.
Kevin Roberts is the president of the Heritage Foundation and one of the driving forces behind the project.
All Project 2025 is trying to do is to be a corrective to the liberal nonsense that has been so insidious inside the executive branch.
So when you understand who the Israelites are, right, and you look at this. So when they was in Egypt and the time came, because that's where we at now. When the time came, Moab came around, it was time, prophecy had been prophesied. What did the Pharaoh do? Make brick without straw. Here you go. This is a comparison to that right here.
In the last half century.
The Heritage Foundation says Project 2025 is backed by more than 100 conservative organizations and a $22 million budget.
So I think the size, scale, and sophistication of Project 2025 is unprecedented.
The project has 4 main pillars: a policy plan, a personnel database, an online academy, and a playbook for the president's first 180 days in office.
We can be ready to hit the ground running on day one of the next administration.
The first pillar is a policy agenda that focuses on dismantling the so-called administrative state, or what some conservatives call the deep state.
Either the deep state destroys America, or we destroy the deep state.
For Project 2025, dismantling the administrative state means purging the civil workforce of tens of thousands of federal employees and replacing them with conservative, pre-vetted picks.
There is a creation not just of power, but a concentration of radical leftist ideology in these employees. Hopefully, we will see over the next 10 to 20 years the elimination of entire cabinet departments.
The plan would dismantle the Department of Homeland Security, eliminate the Department of Education entirely, and transform the FBI into a political task force that is accountable to the president.
But the leadership of the FBI has been awful and rotten and not transparent for a long time. It is very important that Congress reestablish its purview over the FBI, generally its jurisdiction.
To give a sense of how radical this is, the FBI is an organization that has never been run by a Democrat. And so this is an organization that in its bones is a fairly conservative organization, and where now you have right-wing voices saying that it should be eliminated.
Okay, did y'all hear that? It said the FBI has never been ran by a Democrat. Let that ferment. The FBI has never been ran by a Democrat. Come on.
Rule number 3, you can't get
Also outlines a plan to bring many federal agencies, like the Department of Justice, under more direct presidential control.
What Project 2025 articulates is the idea that the president should be the one directing the activities of the Department of Justice, even if that means that the president will not be investigated or that the DOJ will be sent to.
So what you talking about? Trump elected the last 3 justices. He in charge of the justice. He in charge of the Department of Justice. It's Republican.
Attack the president's political enemies.
We will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country.
The Heritage Foundation says it wants to ensure that what remains of this whittled down federal bureaucracy is conservative, not just for the next president, but for a long time to come. Pillar 2, personnel database. The Heritage Foundation has already contracted the technology company Oracle to build this database, kind of like a conservative networking platform.
We've recruited Americans all over the country, and so we've had well over 11,000 people who've applied to be considered by the next president and his administration.
Trump really emphasizes loyalty, and you see those practices now being adopted by Project 2025, where you fill out a form that essentially indicates if you are loyal to President Trump or not.
Once they're fully vetted, they can move on to Pillar 3, an online presidential administration academy that would train future bureaucrats in conservative values and governing.
So we want these people.
Okay, I'm gonna say this, then I'll open up for some questions. So he just said they're gonna train them. So when was they trained? When was they trained? They was trained for the damn election. They ain't gonna train them now. They was trained before the election. The whole thing was set up. Okay. So anybody have any questions so far on this video? Comments?
Yeah, because who's the deep state that's running America? Who's the swamp that he got to drain?
Exactly.
We already know that most of everybody that's running has dual citizenship and changed their last name. So we already know where they are.
Exactly.
Straight up Jews. So how you gonna drain the swamp when they're the Jews?
Exactly. False Israel.
Fake. Exactly.
Right. You think it's a coincidence that they're in a bind right now? If you've been paying attention on the news, them Arabs are putting it on their ass. They in a bind.
They sure that ring of fire ain't no joke, is it?
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. So we just heard that Trump said he ain't connected to it when the election was going on. The process, he said he wasn't tied to this agenda, Project 2025. But we just said what they told them they're gonna do in the first day. They're gonna get on those immigrants. Let's look at what Trump said.
And New York shut them down. They can't even get no more food stamps or nothing.
Okay. Here we go. Let me get this up real quick. Okay, here we go.
And in this case, it did. So let me get that first one out of there just so there is no confusion. Thank you very much, family, for the alert in that. Okay, so now that one is out to the way, and we're going to get into this broadcast. So if you were paying attention, there was a lot of stuff said in this broadcast. I'm sorry, not in this broadcast, in this election. A lot of stuff was said during this election. And if you're not spiritually discerning, you will fall for all of the rhetoric. You will fall for all of the promises. Now, I feel like on both sides, promises were made, but I hope y'all were paying attention, family, to the things that were said that had nothing to do with promises. See, everybody has their hand out during elections. I'm asking what a candidate is going to do for them. But they don't understand that these candidates have an agenda too, that they carry out along with the system that gives them the platform to carry out agendas. Anyone with eyes to see knows that Trump is a very divisive person, but that is something he has labeled others with. He has said everybody else is divisive. And you can't tell me that anyone with a clear mind could sit here and say that Donald Trump was a man that was put there to unify the people. If you believe that Donald Trump was put there to unify the people, you are out of your mind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I want to go ahead and say this. One of this man's vows was that he was going to give blanket immunity for cops. But I want to show a comparison here to you. For you black men who are not paying attention, who decided that he was the best man.
Yeah, niggas that voted for him.
Listen to one young lady crying her eyes out when she was talking to her black relatives, male relatives, about Donald Trump. They were saying, when she would ask them or say anything about him not liking so-called black folk, she said, well, he don't like no, they said he don't like nobody. I just prefer Trump over a woman, you know? I'm like, so this man has been proven to not like you. And he's given blanket immunity to cops, while at the same time, he is also vowing to free January 6th Capitol attackers. So let's unpack that for a moment. Blanket immunity to cops. So he says that he wants to support cops, giving them blanket immunity. But his January 6th people, they actually laid hands on cops, the ones that he claims will get blanket immunity. But he didn't want blanket immunity for the one that took out Ashley Babbitt, which was one of the capital A attackers. Listen to that for a moment. So what is this telling you? All of this support the blue is more about them supporting them laying their hands on you, black man and black woman. This is why they want blanket immunity.
So let's look at that right quick. So we do a comparison and contrast. Ain't that the same shit they got JC doing? He's saying one thing, but the shit ain't adding up. The same way right here. What he's saying, it ain't adding up because it's going right along with. He said he ain't tied to Project 2025, but look what he's doing. Same thing with JC. He says he done with the law school teacher, but we done found out that the law is eternal. It's forever, for all generations. But he come and say the law, it was a schoolmaster to lead to him. Shit ain't adding up, just like this. And so anyway, so after I got to looking at all this, I had over the last like 7 or 8 years, I have been a lot of people have been bringing up the targums in the scriptures. So you know those the first 5 books. They got them in Hebrew. They say it's a different version of a different understanding. So I finally got Deuteronomy, because when I looked at it, I went on eBay, and I was looking at them. It's 5 books, the first 5 books of the Old Testament, which is the Torah. So I got the Targums first. I got the Deuteronomy first from the Targums, and I was reading it, and it said in there that, well, when they telling us one thing in there, it says that when he kicked us out the land, one of the main things we were gonna have was confusion. Like Daniel said, we pray confusion of face, and that's what we get because of the same shit they did with JC. They're doing it right here with Trump. They're telling you one thing, but what he's doing is something else, and it's actually an insult. If you're paying attention, it's an insult because of what you said. It ain't what you're doing. We got from especially the last 20 years, we got a problem with the cops. Now here you come now you giving the cops total immunity. Come on, that's just like telling the Israelites make brick without straw. Come on, shit ain't that enough.
Like the scriptures say, when they say peace, they mean war.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, like I said before, over and over again, the Israelites have to fight. They told them to make brick without straw, but when they played out, did the Israelites have to fight anybody? No, the Lord of hosts took over. It's the same thing right here. It's a setup. You know, it ain't. It's looking like it's gonna be a competition between the righteous and the unrighteous, but the Lord of hosts gonna step in. Like I just read, when you see me rise, shine above you, know that, you know, it's end times. That's what we're looking at. They got another plan because that's who they are. They got a plan to annihilate us, but it ain't gonna happen. It ain't looking good. I heard the Negro the other day say that it's 1,000 years. The end times is 1,000 years away. Imagine that. Everything you see going on, he says it's 1,000 years away before the end times take place. What's that from, mate? Okay, so I'm gonna play this right here. Let me play this. Okay, Let's look at this right here. See what this guy talking about. This crazy right here. Like I said, this is
Michigan, and Wisconsin. Donald Trump has officially secured enough electoral college votes. Well, so much for the blue wall of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
It's a white man now.
Donald Trump has officially secured enough electoral college votes to win the 2024 presidential election, which I'm sure at this point, everybody already knew that. That doesn't make it sting any less, and it doesn't make it easier to take, but it is unfortunately the reality that we are now living in. And unlike in 2016, Donald Trump is not just winning because of the Electoral College. He did, in fact, win the popular vote as well, at least as of right now. I know there's still votes to count, but it's looking like Donald Trump won it all. And Republicans also took back the Senate.
This is my point right here.
So Donald Trump is going into office.
That's what 2025 says. They want to get a Republican in the White House, and they want him to have control of the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the judicial system, which is the Supreme Court. Check it out.
Again, he has secured the Electoral College votes. This is not up for discussion. This is not an opinion. This is just what happened. He will be the next president. And Republicans will control the Senate.
There you go.
Which means that every single judicial appointee from Donald Trump is going to be quick, fast-tracked,
right,
to get confirmed.
That's what these motherfuckers voted for.
And he's a redhead too. Don't let his hair fool you.
Clarence Thomas, I do believe, will likely resign or retire, I guess it would be called, in the next few months once Donald Trump takes office, so that Trump can replace him with somebody who's 40 years old with no legal experience at all, possibly Judge Eileen Cannon. And then we might see the same thing happen with Samuel Alito. So Trump is probably going to have at least one, possibly two Supreme Court appointments.
So you say, what you talking about? Like I was saying before, this overall pay grade, because Negroes ain't aware of all this, right? So why they saying 100, the first 180 days it was 100 days, the first 100 days. Now it's the first 180 days. So why are they saying the 180 days? Because you got the 2-year cycle. They're gonna come back in 2 years, and they're gonna have to vote again for the Senate and the House of Representatives in 2 years. So they got 2 years. So they already applied this out a long time ago. They got 2 years. So it's all the shit, it's everything right in line like they see. Tied to Project 2025. And these niggas then participated in it when they voted for Trump. Okay?
During this second term, and he's not going to have any trouble getting them through with a Republican-controlled Senate. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, folks.
So, like I said, what's the purpose of this? Why are they doing this? Isaiah 60, I just read. They see the Lord rise. They see the Israelite rising. 2025 is to cut that off. Okay.
The big problem, of course, as we all know, is the threat of the creeping authoritarianism. Project 2025 and all of that. They got everything they wanted. The American people gave them that.
Hey,
they didn't have to steal it. The voters just said, yeah, here you go, do it. I'm not angry at Donald Trump today, believe it or not. I'm not angry at J.D. Vance. I'm not angry at the Republicans who won the Senate. I'm not happy about any of those things, but I'm not angry at them. My anger today is directed at the American voters. And I have been on social media for about the last 24 hours. I got about 90 to 120 minutes of sleep last night. A little unhappy, a little unpleasant right now. But let me tell you, it's the voters. I'm not going to sit here and say that Vice President Kamala Harris ran a bad campaign. I don't think she ran a bad campaign. But now, all the fucking Monday morning quarterbacks out there on Twitter on the left, like, oh, well, she ran a horrible campaign. Yeah, it was just awful. It was terrible. It was
White
bad.
boy talking.
Shut the F up.
And it's crazy, Mr. Leonard, that everybody's getting some racism shit and text messages and everything, especially here in Jacksonville. They was talking about all these people getting racist text messages. Right when he become president again, here we go again with the racism.
Right. You think he was in Florida on accident? See, I worked over there. Them stone. I thought I knew some rednecks in Louisiana when I was over there working in Florida. Them some rednecks. You think he wasn't down there in Mar-a-Lago? You think he was in Mar-a-Lago on accident?
No, sir.
Hell no. Okay. Yeah. Ain't that something?
Yeah, it was on the news.
Right.
The campaign was not horrible. She was doing rallies. She was giving interviews. She kicked Trump's ass during that debate. What more did you want from her? She ran a good campaign, as good as could be run, given the very short time frame she had. Right. This I do not think is on her.
You ain't gonna win no way.
This is on the American public.
Exactly.
And of course, by extension, this is on the media, whose job it is to inform the public. They're not out there hyping up the jobs reports. They're not out there telling these people, hey, inflation is actually a lot lower. We're back down to normal. Now, the media wouldn't push those narratives, would they? Because that would be seen as biased. So the media dumbs down the public, and a dumbed down public pushes us even further to idiocracy. That is now the country that we are.
Not only that, but feminists help Trump get in too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was like I said. Now we on the other end. We on the other side of this. We can see it was a setup. It was a lie. All them rednecks was saying they was gonna vote for Kamala Harris to throw all the shit off, and everybody thought they was looking at trying to add up them polls. No, they was lying. They was that was all plotted. Come on.
Yes, sir. They brought them all out. Yes, sir.
Right. Now we see it because, like I said, he didn't win the swing states out of 7. Come on, man. Check this out. This I'm gonna close out on this. Look at this.
Cohen Show on our journey to 250,000 subscribers.
These white boys.
A couple of you have decided to unsubscribe. Don't. In fact, this is the time to subscribe because there's a lot that needs to be unpacked in terms of what's going on, not just for the next 70 days, but for the next 4 years plus. And I want to begin by talking about something you've heard me say on this show many times before. That Donald Trump, in essence, was running for the presidency of the United States, not for the benefit of America, not for the benefit of any single citizen here, but to avoid responsibility and accountability for the various different indictments that are still out there. And of course, when we're talking about indictments, I'm referring to the remaining 3 indictments that constitute the Mar-a-Lago documents case, that constitutes.
So what other president you know got that many cases going on and they all get prolonged? Just imagine a brother. Just imagine he was a congressman or a representative or whatever, or he was a CEO. He ain't gonna get no time to fix that shit. They gonna whatever the court date is, he gonna get the court date. He gonna get sentenced. They prolonged the whole thing with a plot.
Exactly. Al Sharpton ain't about to run for president with all them charges on him. He gonna get hit up before he can even go to the ballot box.
Exactly.
And I don't even like Al Sharpton, but I'm just saying as a brother.
So like I said, Go back to 2025. It's all the shit was plotted up. And he want, you know, and then you sit there and say, I'm not connected to 2025. These Negroes went for it. Now we're on the other side of it.
Fani Willis Georgia case and the January 6th insurrection case, two of which are, of course, run by Jack Smith. Now, I want to be very clear about something. For whatever reason the guy decides to run, that's his prerogative. For the reasons that people vote, well, that's something specific and different. And by the way, when I said 3 indictments, in fact, there's really 4. You may recall that there was a superseding indictment that Jack Smith filed not too long ago. Now, of course, some of these cases, like the Fani Willis case, it's got all sorts of problems associated. We'll get to that in a minute or so after I show you this clip. But the Jack Smith cases, the 2, especially the one that everybody talks about all the time as being the most significant of all of the cases, that of course included the Manhattan District Attorney case that already had been heard, and Donald was found guilty on 34 counts. I want to show you, for example, a clip of what Fox News reported on Jack Smith and what it means for him when Trump takes power in January of 2025. Play the clip.
We have some news about special counsel Jack Smith, this man right here. Donald Trump said recently that he would fire Jack Smith, quote, within 2 seconds of taking office. Well, we found out that he may not have that opportunity. The reason is that the Department of Justice, where Jack Smith works, cannot prosecute a sitting president. Fox News is told that Jack Smith will be gone.
He wasn't no sitting president when he done it. He wasn't no fucking sitting president. Come on, it's crazy, man.
From his post as special counsel, meaning the cases will be gone before Trump takes the oath of office at noon on January 20th. This is the documents case, though that was dropped already by Judge Eileen Cannon back over the summer, and it's on appeal, but also this case for Trump's alleged efforts to try to overturn the 2020 election. So given the fact DOJ policy says you cannot prosecute a sitting president, expect Jack Smith's cases to be done. The last case, and I'll end on this, is that Atlanta case that deals with the 2020 elections. That's a local Georgia case. We've seen over the last year how that has played out with Fani Willis, Nathan Wade. That has many problems, many different delays. So the bottom line for my story to all of you right now, Donald Trump's legal problems have essentially all gone away since he won last night. Harris?
Well, he did exactly what he wanted.
Since he won.
There's no better way than avoiding accountability than becoming president of the United States. Jack Smith has no chance. In fact, as the reporter for Fox News accurately stated, Jack Smith will be gone well before the January inauguration date. And you know what? Who knows what's going to happen, even as it relates to the Manhattan to the New York Attorney General Letitia James case. That was the one, you may recall, that resulted in approximately like a $500 million business fraud. Now that case right now happens to be on appeal, but that case, along with, of course, all of the others, and that includes the Alvin Bragg case, which is the criminal case, all of these basically have no effect as a result of the decision last night. In fact, Attorney General Tish James, just moments ago, gave a press conference on exactly this conversation. Tish James claims in this speech that she is not backing down. Let me show you what she had to say about Trump's win and what it means for both the New York cases. Play the clip.
We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this result. And my office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before.
Here go another delusional sister.
We faced this challenge before, and we used the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight back once again. Because as the Attorney General of this great state, it is my job to protect and defend the rights of New Yorkers and the rule of law. And I will not shrink from that responsibility.
If you're looking to sell.
Okay, any comments on that? That's the black lady out of New York.
Yeah, Donald Trump attorney replied to her and told her he wished she would. Did you see that video? Yeah, he said, I wish you would.
What do you think gonna happen?
Oh, she gonna be done.
Yeah.
She gonna lose her job. She probably gonna be disbarred. She gonna get hemmed up.
Right. So let's do a comparison and contrast. 200 angels. All the bull crap they done, the atrocities they done, they came and they went to Enoch and asked him to go and petition to the Lord of hosts and to Yahweh to give him another chance.
He told him no. No second chances, nothing.
See that?
Yes, sir. And that's why we said Redeemer gonna deal with all of this.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Because I mean, you're gonna right the wrong. If I was in Donald Trump's case as not the president, and I knew if I ran for a certain party or presidents or governors and all that to go away, I'd run for it too.
Exactly. And then you gave him time. You gave him time, dude. Come on, man. You know how much shit had to go down to make all that happen? They already
Exactly.
It was already in place. Yeah.
It was like the mafia.
Oh yeah.
It's the mob boss. You know, they pick. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yep, like they told Gotti, you killed the boss. So instead of killing you, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna go to jail for a couple days or whatever, and we're gonna take care of your family. You're gonna come home.
Exactly. That's where we at. And just the thing about it is, like I said before, you look what happened with Hillary Clinton. She was a golden child when it comes to America. And they ain't let her beat him. He beat her. How you thought she was gonna Kamala Harris gonna beat her? Beat him. So the statement that's being made is just like back in slavery. He's the white man.
Yeah, they ain't gonna let no woman rule over nothing. Y'all ain't gonna have no parts of it.
Right. This misfit ass white man is gonna. That's what this is all about. They're trying to restore that.
Yes, sir. Flat-footed and pregnant in the kitchen.
Exactly. Here we go. We're gonna play this. All these white boys now. The Negro voted for Trump.
Unless you're living under a rock, you have probably at least heard about Project 2025.
Project 2025.
Project 2025.
Project 2025.
Project 2025.
Project 2025. But what exactly is it? Is it actually a Republican plan to overthrow American democracy and establish a fascist dictatorship with unchecked power? Or is it simply a policy wish list by random conservative organizations that's been turned into an overhyped conspiracy by paranoid Democrats desperately trying to link this document to Donald Trump? Well, this last week, while I was sick in bed nursing a cold, I decided to read the entire thing because I either vehemently hate myself or I love torture. Probably the latter. Now, I often hear people blow things out of proportion, and I'm usually the one in my friend group telling people that no, the sky is not falling, and things aren't as bad as they think that they are. But after reading Project 2025, I've got to say, it is...
With this new AI technology, you can generate unlimited children's storybook videos in...
think it is. This 900-page document is a joint effort by 54 influential conservative organizations, 36 authors/editors, 25 of them are officials from Trump's own administration, and 276 contributors to plan a complete MAGA takeover of the USA. At least 140 of Trump's own staff, including nearly half of his cabinet secretaries, have direct involvement with the project. But what is Project 2025? In its opening pages, it refers to itself as a unified effort by the conservative movement, a plan of action to go into effect the second that the next conservative president is sworn into office. And their goal is to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state, to give Trump unfettered power to tear down America and rebuild a Christian nationalist dictatorship in its place.
Christians, get out and vote. Just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine.
But he ain't part
You
of
won't
it.
have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
So was Constantine a Christian? What's that from me?
But how will they accomplish this?
Yes, sir.
Trump's staff and cabinet with MAGA loyalists, firing massive numbers of civil servants, and by consolidating executive power in the hands of Trump, making the Department of Justice and the FBI directly accountable to the president, allowing him to weaponize them, and it would remove their capacity to act independently. This would basically remove very essential checks and balances against presidential abuse of power.
What Project 2025 articulates is the idea that the
white boys now.
President should be the one directing the activities of the Department of Justice, even if that means that the president will not be investigated or that the DOJ will be sent to attack the president's political enemies.
We will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country.
And by reinstating an executive order called Schedule F, the president would be able to replace any nonpartisan civil servants at will with loyalist attorneys who will do his bidding and won't challenge him. And remember, Trump already stacked the Supreme Court with justices who've already demonstrated that their loyalty lies not with the American people or with the U.S. Constitution, but with him and his agenda, ruling that the president is essentially above the law. In his last term, he demonstrated that he would fire anyone who dared to question his agenda.
You're fired. Get out of here.
And he viciously turned on any Republican who followed their conscience rather than the MAGA party line. The result? Almost all of them lost their re-election bids or opted to resign or retire in the face of impossible uphill re-election battles without Trump's endorsement. And the remaining Republicans in Congress learned to fall in line or they'd get the boot. Once Trump gains absolute power, the Project 2025 plan goes on to outline his next steps. And it calls for the largest deportation of immigrants in American history, which would tear millions of families apart. And it straight up states that they intend to arrest immigrants anywhere in the U.S. without warrant. I mean, this is straight up Gestapo-level papers, please madness. Oh, and it also says that ICE will simply rely on the good judgment of officers in the field to avoid inappropriate situations. What could possibly go wrong? Page 60 calls for the reversal of progress made in the areas of racial and gender equality. And this plan would be a massive attack on women's reproductive freedoms as well, calling for abortion surveillance, reversing FDA approval for and attempting to ban mifepristone. You know, the pill that most women take when they don't want to give birth and would rather just miscarry when their first trimester fetus is the size of a brainless peanut. Project 2025 attempts to restrict women's reproductive rights at a national level through multiple initiatives, including defunding Planned Parenthood, cutting federal funding to pro-choice states, eliminating funding for pro-choice women's healthcare programs globally, and establishing a pro-life task force. Okay, so they want to ban all abortions, but they're at least in favor of contraception, right? I mean, the best way to lower abortion rates is to expand comprehensive evidence-based sex education. Wrong. Page 477 calls for the outright abolition of any approved evidence-based sex education curriculum. But as teen pregnancy rates skyrocket, at least they're going to step in and support new mothers, right? Wrong. Page 489 demands the government prioritize married men and women over any other family type. And pages 284 and 451 advocate for stripping support for single mothers. Because, you know, Jesus hated widows and would totally want unwed mothers to suffer. Oh, and now that some states are starting to classify abortions as murder, you'll be happy to learn that they're also planning to expand the death penalty. Page 372
If you don't lose at least 1 pound per day by eating bananas, pay close attention to this.
You say the Most High say the oracles was given to the Israelites. Come on, white boys. White boys got ears to hear.
returning to Cold War level nuclear dick measuring contests and an apocalyptic showdown of chicken is exactly what every American wants. Because what's better than being able to destroy the planet 100 times over? Being able to destroy the planet 1,000 times over. Who's ready for a game of duck and cover? Oh, and page 371 talks about how nuclear waste disposal should be privatized. Because that doesn't sound like a disaster waiting to happen. But at least giant corporations and billionaires will be able to celebrate.
So he's saying, I read Project 2025, so you don't have to. Yeah, go.
All of this deregulation. I mean, did I mention that they're planning to bring back child labor? Somebody's got to work the coal mines.
Create 25 million jobs for our country over the next 10 years.
Or that they have plans to deregulate overtime pay rules and to implement steps that would massively cut Medicaid, stripping the poorest people in America of desperately needed medical care. Now, some of the statements in Project 2025 were laughably moronic. Like when they said that progressivism is both communism and fascism, and somehow all of that is lumped under the umbrella of socialism. Do they know what any of these words mean? And the ironic thing is that while it's clear that all of the authors of this document want to impose Christian nationalism, and they somehow manage to unite on almost every one of the above listed nightmare scenarios, there are a few places where they disagree on just how much Christian nationalism to implement, especially when biblical literalism conflicts with their ultra-capitalistic political beliefs. Like on page 489, where the authors are split over whether or not the government should use its power to get people to rest on the Sabbath by making businesses pay time and a half to employees who work on Sunday. And some of the other authors disagree, seeing that as an infringement on their right to exploit their workers. Other parts of the plan are terrifyingly ironic, like when they quote the founding father James Madison saying that the accumulation of all power, legislative, executive, and judiciary in the same hands, whether one, a few, or many, and whether hereditary, self-appointed, or elective, may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny. But then on the very next page, they call for the president to have the boldness to bend and break the bureaucracy to his will. I could go on and on about this document, because on almost every page, there is another nightmare scenario popping out at you. Sometimes overt, other times obscured in propagandistic rhetoric and blatant dog whistles. But make no mistake, this reads like a How to 1984 guidebook. And Trump knows that his plan is massively unpopular, which is why he's acting like he has no idea what it is or who's behind it. And yet, here's what he had to say about the document's primary architects, the Heritage Foundation.
This is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork and detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
And even as Trump was playing the fool, his advisor Stephen Miller and his press secretary Caroline Leavitt were starring front and center in Project 2025's official recruitment videos promoting the project. Make no mistake, this is Trump's plan for America. I do not use the word fascism lightly, but this is the perfect roadmap to it. And the worst part is, if Trump wins, this isn't hyperbole. He very well could accomplish his dictatorial goal.
Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight, you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Yeah, that's an insult, man. So that's my whole objective for doing this video. So like I was saying before, you got your understanding skewed. Negroes making decisions and they understand it's skewed. So right here we can see from this video right here that he's directly tied to Project 2025, and they already done bypassed the milestone. He the president now. That was the number one. That was the main objective was. To initiate it was that for him to be the president. Well, now he's the president based on these Negroes. A lot of it is not understanding what's going on. If you had a problem with Kamala Harris or whatever, you should have just didn't vote. Not vote for this nut bucket. They had a plan. You've been hoodwinked. So what's got to happen now? The same person that came to Egypt got to clean this shit up. Lord of hosts got to clean it up. You niggas is incapable of cleaning it up. Okay? Any comments before we go?
No, I would like to say shalom, brothers.
Okay.